and welcome to the Do Not Disturb Football Podcast. We had a bunch of news come out yesterday. We have some more today. We have some good fantasy football talk. But first, let's get to the boys. How are we feeling today, Nimmer? How are you?
I'm doing good. We're halfway through the week. That's an accomplishment itself. And this weekend is nice. I'm not doing anything. Knock on wood. Actually, I think we're painting pumpkins this weekend. So during Sunday. So it'd be a nice little break from. Hopefully, we'll do it after the afternoon games and then before Monday Sunday night. We'll like quickly paint it and then wait see the Steeler game. So, but yeah, no, I'm doing well.
Darren, how are you?
We're doing pretty good. For the weekend plans, going over to my buddy Singletary's house or his family's place. It's his daughter's first birthday, so going to go celebrate with them. So that should be pretty fun. Um, Outside of that, probably just going to hang out with Sam on Sunday. She went and saw this new community that's being built over in Rowlett, which is basically on the water near us. We have a lake by our house, probably about like 10 minutes. So she wants me to go and see the houses. So gonna appease her, looking around, see what it's like over there. But yeah, she wants to move in the next like couple years, especially with the baby growing and coming soon. So gotta have that looming over my shoulder.
That extra motivation.
Yeah, the grind to make more money for her, get the house that she wants.
Are you leaving Texas or are you staying in Texas?
It'll be still in Texas.
Is this Mike Singletary's son or whatever that is?
Yeah, my buddy
Is
Matt.
is, uh, is Papa going to be there? Big Mike?
I, I think so. I think it's at his place.
That would
Oh,
be
shoot.
crazy.
Yeah,
Hey, get him on the pod.
Yeah, seriously.
I would, dude. Like obviously like playing linebacker in like little league and then also in the high school. Like he was a big part of why I wanted to play middle linebacker. But I choked up when he came to a game. I was like, I can't fanboy. Like I told
Oh, man.
myself, can't fanboy. Like is what it is. Stay far away from him because everyone else would do it, and I was like, I'm not that kind of guy. Like I don't want to be that up front. But yeah, this will be like the first time meeting him. So and to be at his house, so it'll be really cool. Like Matt talks a lot of stories about him, and dude's a stand-up guy, and like was a pretty dope father. And some of the discipline stories that Matt was telling me,
I'm sure.
it was
Oh my
insane.
god.
My favorite one, and like Matt was telling me, basically Matt got in trouble at school, in a long-winded or a short version. He got in trouble at school, and his dad was in his like basically his library, fireplace going. Matt came in after school. Dad's chair's turned around, and he's like, "All right, son, I want you to go and get every single Pokemon card you got. Bring him into this room right now." Like Matt goes, runs, grabs it, and he's like, "All right, like here they are." He's like, "Okay, here's a pair of scissors. Cut them." So
Oh,
one
wow.
by one cuts every single card, and he's like, "Throw them into the fire, burn them," and then he's like, "Grab. Actually, you know what? Not just the Pokemon cards. Grab every football card, every Yu-Gi-Oh card, everything you got. Come in, cut them, throw them in the fire." I
Wow.
was like, "Bro, the pain that I feel for you right
Oh
now."
my god.
Because Matt said he had the old school Charizard that's probably worth like $100,000, $1 million,
Oh, my
whatever it is.
gosh.
He had that double lined up, ready to go.
And what was the reason again? Just
He
because he got in
he
trouble at
got in
school?
trouble at school, yeah.
That's
Wow.
wild.
But
He probably tried to explain it to Mike, and Mike was like, I don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
pieces
yeah.
of paper. That's crazy. That reminds me of that one video. Have you seen where they this is dad, he's like puts all the video games on the lawn and runs everything over
Mhm.
with a lawnmower and the kid's like freaking out. He's like, I'm gonna make a profession this game. And then like at the time, this was like I don't know, 2014, 2015 maybe. So video games weren't as it is now. And so everybody's like cracking up because he's like crying over all the video games. Now it's like every single kid is like that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's nuts.
Not damn. And I'm a big collector too, so like that would be.
Yeah, it hurt my heart when he told me that story, but
And for the listeners that haven't really got it yet, Darian knows someone related to the Mike Singletary. That's actually who we're talking about. So if you weren't catching on to that, let's get into the injury report. It is a shorter list today. There's still some names on here, though. Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid, limited at practice with a collarbone injury. He is questionable. Panthers wide receiver Deontay
Somebody
Johnson.
from TikTok said A-Chain or Connor rest of the season. Who would you pick?
That's hard.
that is a hard one. I personally like James Conner a lot. He's carrying the running game for the Arizona Cardinals, and he's also been consistent when it comes to touchdowns. Achan, he's also got a loaded backfield behind him. Mostert's coming back. Jalen Wright's on his heels. I mean, for long term, I do like James Conner.
Yeah. I think I'd go James Conner too.
Same.
It's hard though because Achan is so explosive. He could have one of those games that's like 50 points like he did last year, but I guess for like consistency, you probably want Connor.
Yeah. That's from Danny McGee _ Danny McGee on TikTok. So
a lot of people drafted Achan as their RB1 and Connor as their RB2. So yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But good to hear from you, Danny.
Danny McGee.
Good to hear from you, Danny. Keep coming back. We are live on TikTok if that's where you're on right now. Also live on YouTube. Follow us, like, subscribe. We got great fantasy talk. We're here for you today. Let's get into the injury report. Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid limited at practice. I already said that. Panthers wide receiver Deontay Johnson did not practice today. He's listed as questionable with an ankle injury. Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed. I think I missed this yesterday too. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Wicks are all questionable for this weekend. Colts Michael Pittman is questionable with that back injury. He played, so I'm assuming he'll play again. Josh Downs also questionable with a toe injury. Jaguars wide receiver Gabe Davis is questionable with a knee injury, and Evan Ingram is back on the injury report with that hamstring injury. I'm assuming he'll be back this weekend too. Saints, Rashid Shaheed, he is questionable. It is possible that he could be having season-ending knee surgery here, or it could be just a shave of the meniscus, and he'll just miss like 4 weeks, but could be
Ricky.
bad news. He just said the other day too, I need another IR player on my roster.
Oh
and Shaheed was like, I got
Spoke it into existence.
Giants wide receiver Darius Slayton is questionable with a groin injury. Wan'Dale Robinson is also injured with an ankle injury. He's questionable. Jets tight end Tyler Conklin is questionable with a hip injury. Rodgers is on the injury report, but I think he's fine. Steelers Najee Harris is questionable with a rib injury. Nim, nice pickup with Warren.
Thank you.
49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel, that is listed as questionable with a wrist injury, and Jawan Jennings is questionable with a hip injury. And then Titans QB Will Levis is questionable with a shoulder injury. If he's your starting quarterback in fantasy, you might want to do something else there.
Start them just for the memes.
Yeah.
Those pictures, they make my week every single time.
The one where he's like crying.
Yeah, the wincing face.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my god.
It's a good picture. Oh man. So I wrote this story earlier today, thinking that I wrote this yesterday, thinking that Cooper Kupp was going to be healthy this week. It's still pretty up in the air whether or not he's going to return. So the one guy that is coming back, Nick Chubb, I want to kind of compare these guys. Who do you think has the bigger impact? This is more of a fantasy football talk to start the podcast. Nick Chubb, who, if you've followed social media today, Nick Chubb put out this long article saying like I've been made for this city, and the fans of this team are so great, and I have to pay them back. And it was like a really great article. It got a lot of people hyped up to see Nick Chubb back. And then you have Cooper Kupp, who's been dealing with ankle injury. He should either be back this week or next week, we would think. I guess it could be even longer with Cooper Kupp's history. But I want to ask you guys, who do you think has the bigger impact in the fantasy world? Nimmer, I'll start with you.
I think I love I love Nick Chubb, and honestly, especially him squatting the 500 pounds and the bar breaking and stuff like that. But I think the Browns are just the same old Browns, and I don't think that Nick Chubb in general will be that big of a fantasy impact as Cooper Kupp. I think that the Rams have been struggling because they don't really have that good of a wide receiver core, excluding Cooper Kupp and Puka. So I think that Cooper Kupp is more of a fantasy impact than Chubb, especially with Amari Cooper out. If I was a defensive coordinator, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put 8, 9, honestly, even 10 people in the box and let Deshaun Watson beat us. And if Deshaun Watson beats us, that's fine. But if I would rather Deshaun Watson put the ball in his hands instead of Nick Chubb. So I think that's what's going to be the trend when people play the Browns. And I think that Nick Chubb is going to get a lot of touches, but I don't think that he's going to get too many yards. He might some goal line work, maybe if they even get, past the 10. But I don't think I think the Browns are just like their colors, just complete dog doo-doo.
10 guys in the box might leave one of those receivers wide open.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, the receivers
Go
might be
ball
open,
with
but
Jerry
Deshaun
Jeudy.
Watson will probably miss him or overthrow
That's
him
true.
or just I can't trust him. I'd much
That's totally
rather
fair.
trust that connection between Stafford and Kupp rather than Nick Chubb coming back from a horrific injury. Like, don't get me wrong, I really, really, really want him to succeed, but I just can't see it.
What are your thoughts, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to it, just with Chubb coming back from basically like 2 or 3 years of back-to-back knee injuries, fantasy impact right off the get-go, it's not Chubb. If I'm the Browns, I'm putting him on a limited snap count, which I think is what they're going to do, especially with his fantasy projections being about, 7.8 points. He's going to get limited touches this week and start to slowly ramp up until he can get to that full workload, or a true 50-50 with Ford or even Pierre Strong. Pierre Strong not being the better of the three. I think it's a ramp-up period, so his fantasy impact isn't going to be the same once Kupp is back into full swing and is healthy. We've seen it. He comes in, he's electric. He's going to get the targets because Stafford loves him and wants to feed him the ball. So I would imagine it's going to be like it was week 1 where he got 14 targets. And I think he had 11 catches out of the 14. Maybe mistaken there. But high volume is going to be seen in Kupp out the gates. And so I think I would lean towards Kupp when it comes to fantasy impact.
I think didn't Ford just leave the game like in the first quarter last week because of the hamstring injury he got?
Yeah, he's also questionable.
So it's a chance he misses time. Yeah, I think Foreman's there.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so maybe you see a mix of Foreman, Pierre Strong, and Chubb. So you guys don't think Chubb is going to be back like full swing? You think he'll be back like 70%, 80%?
I think he's
this
definitely going to
week,
get limited.
I would say maybe week 10, week 11 is where he'll see like 12 to 15 touches and get up into that point. I don't think he's going to be 20,
Mhm.
but I think he can slowly ramp up into like 12, 15 area.
That's probably a good point. I just had a talk with Hook. He has him in another league, and I told him that I think Chubb's going to be back full swing, but maybe I should listen to you guys. And
Yeah, he asked me too, and I was like, I think it's a snap count first, and then he'll build into it. But
yeah, that makes more sense. I was thinking because we've seen these workouts since like July that he'd be good, but I guess it's a whole different thing with full contact.
I just wouldn't start him, honestly. Right, first game back, I probably wouldn't start him. I would, if I had Chubb and he said so. Sorry, Caleb said start 3: Cup, Diggs, Wilson, or Devontae. If you have those 4, who would you start if you had 3?
One more time. Who was it?
Cooper Cup, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, I'm assuming. Not Russell Wilson. Sorry. Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. If you had those 4, who would you start out of those 3 positions? I'm assuming
So
2 wide receivers.
pick one.
No, pick
No, he
3.
said
So
pick
2 wide
three.
receivers and a flex.
Oh, okay. So I'm probably starting. I'm probably starting.
How do you have all 4 of those? What the hell?
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, that's a pretty stacked wide receiver room. I mean,
I think I'm starting Devontae. I think Devontae is a touchdown guaranteed this week. If I were to be putting a bet on anytime touchdown, I think Devontae's going to score a touchdown this week.
Yeah.
I agree.
So he's in. Diggs might have a tough matchup with Jair Alexander because that's probably who's going to be lined up on him. Cooper Kupp. I don't know how much Cooper Kupp is going to get you. Probably 12, 11 points, I would think, in that range. His first week back, that's probably startable. And who was the other one?
Diggs.
He said Diggs, Garrett, Devontae, and Cup. So he's got 2 jet wide receivers.
Yeah. I'd probably sit. That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I would trade away one of your jet receivers. You probably should keep Devontae. Yeah,
Or
especially just
trade
for,
Devontae for like one of those big running backs, like one of the top end running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now with the increased value, you could definitely flip Devontae. I'd keep. I'm gonna go against what I just said a moment ago. Like redact what I just said. I'd keep Garrett, trade away Devontae because everyone's gonna want the hype of him being paired with Rodgers again. Plus, he's a touchdown dependent. I shouldn't say touchdown dependent. He's a guaranteed touchdown machine when it comes to that relationship. You're going to get a lot of value out of him. So, like Drew said, trade him for, a top end like RB1.
But this week, what would you do? You have Cup, Diggs, Wilson, or Devontae. I'm honestly looking at the matchups. I don't know. I'll have to look.
I'm going. I'd probably go Tay, Diggs, and just to have variety. Cup. Yeah, I would do those 3.
The Bills are playing the Titans, or not the Bills. Sorry, the Texans are playing the Packers, and the Rams are playing the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm throwing Cup in that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do think that Diggs could struggle against Jair this weekend, but.
So that was from Caleb, and then Jorge Lorenzo said, "Would you trade JJ for Kareem Hunt, Garrett Wilson, and Najee?"
Fuck no. No.
I would not. I would stay away from Najee as far away as possible.
Yeah, I don't touch Najee. Kareem Hunt, I think you could get decent value with him, but not for JJ. I'd keep JJ for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. Drew?
So the trade was what? One more time?
JJ for Kareem Hunt, Garrett Wilson, and Najee.
That's a horrible trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
What about That's for Jorge, and then Abby. Bigsby for Neighbors. Is that a good trade? Absolutely.
No. Oh, for it
What?
to get
If you're
Neighbors.
getting Neighbors, then yes.
Oh yeah,
If
that's
you
a great
have
trade. If you're
Bisbee,
giving away Neighbors, don't do that.
absolutely not. Yeah. Okay, we're on the
Yeah,
same page there.
Who
Oh,
would
these are
trade
yeah. I don't know.
or ask for Bigsby?
these guys might be in like 3-man leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a 3-man, yeah, I don't know. But how well do you think Achan finishes the rest of the season, and then Achan or Reed?
Yeah, I was going to talk about HN a little later in the show,
Oh
but we
yeah,
can talk about it.
sorry.
No, we can talk about it now. I have some concerns about HN. He started the year last year missing games with an injury. He just had a concussion. They say he's got the green light to come back this weekend, and all anticipation is he's going to play. But when I watch him play, I think he's kind of a smaller running back, and he has a risk of injury. He had injuries in college. So I kind of wonder if the coaches are starting to notice this, and then they start to divvy up the carries with Mostert and Jalen Wright. So I do have some concerns about Achane for the rest of the season. I think Jaden Reed is more valuable right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think even I guess when Tua comes back, I really see that offense going to a split, especially with Mostert coming back. So I was never really high on Achan in general, but I don't think that he's going to do as well as he did last season.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with just the injury risk that he has. It's concerning, but I was seeing some stats where he's got the usage of like RB6 and the efficiency when it comes to that usage being like RB5, RB4.
Oh,
Like that
he's super
range.
talented. He's super talented.
It's like when he's healthy, it's like a sure lock. You're going to have some great production out of him. But it's just those small little niggles here and there is what's holding him back. Like if he can get over that hump of being injured and maintain a true long full season, I mean, he could arguably be RB1 because we've seen it last year where he'll put up 50-point games. But it's just the smaller frame, injury ridden is what's holding him back. But
I just don't see in McDaniel's offense that they have a true number one running back, though. That's kind of more my point. But he's a great running back, but I can't see the whole offense.
I mean, last year
on him.
Mostert was the RB1. He scored 24 touchdowns last year.
Yeah. Which that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like Mostert's gonna get all the touchdown. I mean, it could be like Gibbs and Montgomery. I could definitely see it being like that. So
on a faster version.
So Abi, no problem. Ford MCC, but Abi said, "What running back would you replace Bigsby for?"
Like off the waivers?
Huh? Yeah.
What's
like,
the context?
To my understanding, because he said Bigsby's for Neighbors is a good trade, and then he said, "What running back to replace Bigsby for?" So like, who do you think you should replace Bigsby for? I'm assuming that's what he's asking.
Are we talking about waivers or are we talking about like in a trade?
Probably both. Why don't we do both?
So in waivers
What
right
would
now,
be a good trade? If you had Bigsby and you want to trade him away, who would you try to go get?
oh man, I
That's what he
mean,
meant.
We're looking at an RB2 who's been efficient except for this past game against the Bears. He's averaged 8 yards per carry. He's explosive. And then he also had the game before where he popped off for 2 touchdowns. That would have been the time to sell him coming off of that game. I think you're a week and a half too late. So with that being said, he's dropped down in value again, I think.
I'd hold on to Bigsby though. Honestly,
Yeah, I'd hold on. Yeah.
he's returning kicks for the Jags too, so he has potential to get you points in a couple of different ways.
If you would kind of maybe Kareem Hunt, I feel like that would be a pretty good trade depending on. So I don't know. That's who I would
maybe.
probably trade, but like
He's
trade for.
Kareem's in a better situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, but the Chiefs don't. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't think that they really use their running backs as well. And I mean, Kareem had one good game, but
The Jags line is terrible.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That whole team is just bad.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's all the comments in TikTok so far. So we got caught up. So appreciate
that was
the
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that was
awesome.
really cool.
Great
That was the
question.
first time we've had a bunch of questions to start off the podcast like that. I wasn't really expecting that. Thank you guys.
No, I wasn't either.
Uh,
Keep throwing them.
let's
us.
get in.
We should start
Yeah.
being like go live maybe Thursday to answer more fantasy
I agree.
questions, maybe Friday or something like that. So we'll try
Yeah.
to get more into it so we can
Oh.
just strictly answer questions.
I'd like to do it like I can't do it this weekend, but like the Sunday, you guys could probably do it right before the game start. Like
Mhm.
get on an hour and a half before the game start and just answer a bunch of questions on fantasy.
That'd be cool. We can maybe do
Mhm.
Thursday. I don't know. We'll have to discuss that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But
I'm sorry,
uh,
we got two more. Just got.
Oh, we got
popped in.
two more. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
fire
okay.
So
away.
we got Hill or Reed, Tyreek Hill or it's gonna say Justin Reed,
Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed.
I have a bias. I love Jaden Reed. I think just without Tua, is Tua back this week or is he projected next week?
they're aiming week 8 from
Week
what I
8?
hear.
Ooh,
I'd probably lean Reed this week,
Ooh.
and then
to
I'd
start
be looking
or
at him.
if I picked Hill over Reed to trade for. I'd rather trade for Hill rather than Reed. But to start, I would start Reed over Hill this week.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard once Tua's back. You're kind of in the if you're on a winning team in fantasy, you're in a good spot because Tua will start to get the ball more to Cheetah, Tyreek, and that value is way more than Jaden Reed. I think.
Yeah,
I know it's a tough spot right now though. It's been a Sahara Desert for some of these Tyreek Hill owners.
Or Waddle. I have Waddle in my league. It's awful.
I dropped Waddle in my other league.
Oh.
yeah. Waddle's a buy low for me.
I was going
currently.
to until I heard Tua was coming back, so I'm hopeful. But
Yeah,
so Cup and
missed out on-
Brooks for Brian Robinson and Shakir. Cup and Brooks for Brian Robinson.
well, he means
and-
Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
That's not a bad trade.
And it's a PPR.
That's not a bad trade, honestly.
Do you think that Shakir's fantasy value is going to go up because of Amari Cooper, though? I don't know.
I kind of
think
wonder.
just-
I think for the first couple weeks, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but I think for the first couple weeks, it's possible because Amari, I think, is going to be kind of a slow burn with the Bills. I think in a couple weeks he'll set fire, but for these first couple weeks, I'm a little cautious with starting him,
Mhm.
and I wonder it probably does open up the field more for either Shakur or Dalton Kincaid.
I think it's probably going to go to Dalton.
Yeah,
I mean,
hope so.
overall, it's not a horrible trade. Is it something that I would personally do?
I would
keep-
probably do it just because Brooks isn't like we don't really know what Brooks is going to be, and Chuba's
Yeah.
True.
third in the league in rushing right now.
But
Exactly.
you're giving up Cup. And
Yeah.
Cup's I would just try to keep Cup. Even with Brian Robinson. I mean, he's just coming back from injury. You don't know. Eckler
Yeah.
might go above him. I say I wouldn't do it, but
We talked about it last week. The fantasy outlook for Brian Robinson this next 3 weeks are a beauty.
yeah.
So, like, I mean, you have Carolina, who's like dead last against the run. Then you have, oh my gosh, who was it? I think it was Chicago, and then it was also the Giants. Those 3 games back to back to back. I think B Rob could have some major games.
He's been such a threat in the red zone. That's why he's been so valuable this year.
But it's a PPR league. So
Mm-hmm.
with Cup being the only receiver, he's going to get a lot of targets and a lot of slants and a lot of outs, and he's going to might get 10 receptions in a game. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are our 3 opinions. We
Mhm.
don't all have to agree on it. He said Evan said pick 2: Bigsby, Achan, or Mason. You have to pick 2: Bigsby,
Bixby,
Achan,
Achan.
or Mason.
So we got Bigsby that's playing against New England this week,
Mm-hmm.
who's I think 27th against the run. It's not a bad one. He's also projected 13.1 points.
I'm picking Bigsby, I think, just because ETN's out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Bigsby and who were the other two? It was Mason and
Achan.
Achan.
I'd probably go Mason.
I'd probably go Mason.
Yeah,
If he's playing, we don't really know if he's playing, but
I agree. But he's playing the Chiefs, so I think that's kind of the
oh, that's
question
true.
mark.
So it's
So
Chiefs have what the first. They're the
Right.
best run defense team in
Yeah.
the league so far.
here's the games, just so we have them in front of us.
Yeah, just we have it in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Achan is playing the Colts, who don't have a great defense, and then so I would do Bigsby and Achan, to be honest.
Yeah, I
With
might switch it up.
Mason
Yeah.
being injured, they might limit
Yeah.
his touches.
You're probably
Um,
right.
Yeah, Achan and fuck Bigsby. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then the next comment is, you think Darnell Mooney for Amari Cooper? He gets Amari Cooper. Absolutely.
I mean, what are we doing?
That's a
Absolutely. 100%.
That's a great trade for you.
No-brainer, bub. Get it done. Send it over.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Do it now, please.
Crap. I lost my thing. 1 second. Technical difficulties. Let's see. It was Shroud or what is it called? Shroud or Donald? Who would you guys choose?
Probably Darnold. Lions have like the 31st pass
Yeah.
defense.
I think I'd go Darnold too.
Plus, they're like really bad in the slot. So, um,
And Green Bay has the most takeaways right now on
Mhm.
defense in the
Yeah.
league.
This might be a little bit easier for you guys to read. Okay, so where was that?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
we're in a team.
So
All right, we got to address the Douglas IU Cooper. He's
We have 174 likes.
yeah, 13 people.
Oh my
watching.
god. Hey,
And we got 2 roses.
Keep
Shout out to
liking.
John.
yeah.
hey, keep tapping that screen, y'all. This is awesome.
Okay, so where did okay, so we'll just start right here. Douglas, Ayuk, and Cooper pick 2. I don't know where we were at.
I'd probably do Douglas and Ayuk this week.
Oh, here we are. All right. So Shroud or Donald, who did you guys choose?
Darnold.
Arnold.
Okay. Trade Dobbins, Pitts, and Pickens for Henry. They're all sitting on his bench. Absolutely. Pickens is not gonna do well. I mean, if once we get to the
That's a lot.
episode, he's not gonna.
That's a lot of depth though for one guy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But for Henry, who's gonna be a MVP candidate,
Yeah, you're right.
I think so.
Just hope nothing goes wrong.
I mean,
I just want to know who
you
else
never
is
know.
on your team.
Yeah,
just so-
seriously.
so we know.
DM us your roster. That would be crazy. Collins and Jamison Williams for Derrick Henry and CeeDee Lamb.
It's a no-brainer. Do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
do
do
that.
Would y'all trade Flowers and Mark Andrews for Montgomery? Absolutely. I don't trust
Yeah, I
anybody
would.
from the Ravens.
I would do that.
I mean,
No?
yeah. Are you trading? He's trading away Flowers and Mark Andrews.
Yeah. That's
Montgomery's-
what I'm reading.
I mean,
Montgomery's been super solid this year.
yeah. I mean, he's consistent, so I definitely would go Montgomery. Flowers, he's up and down, boomer bust candidate for me for the rest of the year. So if you can get him off your team for Montgomery, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess screw the news stories. We're gonna
Yeah.
keep it in these comments.
That's what I'm like, all right. Where are
Is there any more?
We got a ton.
Douglas, Ayuk, and Cooper pick 2. Douglas and Ayuk for this week, but I would keep
Wow, we
an
got-
eye on it.
I agree. Douglas and Ayuk for this week.
We have 341 likes. Keep liking that screen, y'all.
Yeah.
Keep double
Would you
tapping it.
trade Saquon and DK for Henry, Zay, and Ferguson? Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I like DK rest of the year. He's probably
And
top 10.
Saquon's like the number one running back right now.
Yeah.
Next to Henry, but I don't trust Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is a boomer bust. Same with anybody in the Dallas offense. Neighbors and Connors for Amon Ra and Brian Jr.
Brian Thomas.
I think so.
So 2 wideouts.
Neighbors and Connor for Amon Ra and Bryant. I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was thinking he was gonna get Neighbors and Connor. I probably wouldn't do that. Jared.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Jake Chan trade Achan for Brooks, Kelsey, and Chase Brown.
He's gonna
Maybe.
give you that haul for Achan.
Yeah. Wow. I would
I might do
definitely
that.
do that.
Chase. I would do that. I mean, I'd have the question mark of Brooks. I'd keep him in my IR slot. So yeah, that's a no
I would do
brainer. I would
that.
do that.
Jason, would I start Flowers or Brees Hall in my flex this week?
Brees.
Hall. 100%. Even though we're going against the Steelers, I still would start him.
Yeah, there's no way you bench.
Let me interject here. For our YouTube viewers, we are getting a bunch of questions on
Oh,
TikTok
yeah.
right now. So if you want to watch us on TikTok and join in on the conversation, we are on TikTok as D&D Football Pod. Come on in and ask some questions. We're up to
Yeah.
520 likes, so I don't think we're leaving.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got to keep Brees in their starting lineup.
Yeah. Evans for Devontae and Singletary. No.
No.
No. I like Evans. He's consistent, and you see the passing offense of the Bucks. They're all potent, so I'd keep them.
That was from Lewis Kaysen.
You know what's
Jared,
crazy? Probably the biggest surprise of the fantasy season so far. The number one receiver is Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
That I'm not surprised. We were talking about it the first
That was
episode. He went back to the slot, and that's where he performs. I mean, he's had 2 30-point games this year. Yeah.
I was expecting a big year out of him, but I mean, with the numbers he's putting up, he should have been a first-round pick this year.
Oh yeah. But we should do honestly like a redraft of the first round of what it should look like.
That would
based
be
on
a cool segment.
we
Definitely.
might as well do that at week 8,
Yeah, that's a good
halfway
idea.
through the season.
Why did it go all the way up?
Systems overloaded.
Okay, yeah. That was for so
We did Jared's.
Luke. We didn't do Luke's.
We
Do
didn't
I
do
start Achan or Jameer Gibbs? Gotta be Gibbs, right? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, who's your other running back that you're starting is the question. I mean, I always lean Gibbs.
Yeah, I definitely think Gibbs. And then Hawkinson or Kincaid?
We're going to address Zach because this is where I'm at too. I relate with Zach. Who can I sell ETN?
Oh,
and
sorry,
Andrews
I didn't
for?
see his name. Sorry, my bad, Zach.
Yeah,
Who can I sell ETN and Andrews for right now? I need a better
Oh.
RB1.
Probably not going to get something
DK?
great.
DK probably would be the
well,
best.
he's looking for an RB.
Yeah, DK. Sorry, JK Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, yeah, maybe.
You could maybe swing that. Yeah, JK would be a good pick.
Yeah, so there you go, Zach. Brad Boss, Hawkinson or Kincaid? I would say Kincaid for now and until Hawkinson, like 2-3 weeks for Hawkinson. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Kincaid for sure.
And then got Chase and JT for Evans, Higgins, and Mason. Chase and JT for Evans, Higgins, and Mason. Did I win? Bola, I think you won. I like
I think you won that
and
trade.
JT. Luke MC, is Baker Mayfield better than CJ Stroud in fantasy?
100%, brother. Keep him in that damn lineup.
And then Endorf, is Romeo Dobbs or Josh Downs this week? Josh Downs, right?
I'm probably leaning Josh Downs.
I'd probably lean Josh Downs.
Thoughts on Ricky Pearsall?
Hey, many men, brother. He's got a
Many men. Many men. That's funny.
Hey, he's a dog for sure. I like Ricky. I don't know when he's gonna come back, but another sleeper for the 49ers is Cowing. He's another rookie that they drafted. He's been kind of a sleeper pick, but
From
for
the
deep
U of A.
league, yeah, he's deep leagues is when you should be looking for him.
Shout out!
Man.
This is the first time that we hit 100 viewers. So thanks for all the support,
Hey,
you guys.
For the people viewing, I want to challenge you guys. Can we get to 1,000 likes on this live? That would be something pretty
insane.
cool.
That'd be grand, bro.
Okay.
This is the first time that we've had questions like this happen. So this is great to see you guys.
Sorry for the YouTubers.
I would like to get back to we're almost at 1,000 likes already, so that's awesome. But,
there we go. We got it.
We're there.
Wow.
We gotta keep going.
30 seconds.
You know what? Let's screw the news for tonight. We'll get past the news. We will resume our YouTube show in the B block for now. We'll run this until 9:30 ish, and then we'll go to the B block of our show later. And if we want to stick around and answer more questions for fantasy, we'll do that. But we'll take a few more questions right now.
Okay. I lost my spot.
You're way too high up. Yeah, we passed all these.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Mayfield. Luke said Mayfield or Love for a start this week.
I got Mayfield.
I like Mayfield.
I like both options, but
They're both pretty sound.
I'm going Love. I'll go Love. That's my opinion. He's on my team though. I'm a little biased.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Mayfield's QB2 on the year. If
Yeah.
he didn't have as many picks as he did last week against the Saints, he's QB1.
I got the Packers winning this weekend against the Texans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do not.
Nope.
Somebody sent
Same
us
Green
a
Bay.
chili too, which was cool.
I don't even know what a chili is, bro. I'm so out of touch.
It. I appreciate it.
I think someone said Worthy, Chubb, or
I know. I don't know why it keeps on going.
Douglas
down.
in the flex. I'm going Douglas in the flex out of those three.
Chubb or Ayuk?
Ayuk.
Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start Tyreek, Josh Downs, or Gabe Davis.
If you're only
Probably.
picking one, I'm picking Tyreek.
Yeah, probably Tyreek.
Higgins or Chubb at flex?
Higgins.
Or
Higgins.
Chubb or Pollard?
Mm,
I would do
Pollard, yeah.
probably, yeah. Start to Tyreek, Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams.
I'm going Tyreek and
Devontae.
Yep.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Etienne and Adams need a RB. Who you chasing?
Ooh, those. You could probably get James Cook.
Yeah.
You can get James Cook with that package, Etienne and Adams.
Bigsby or Hunt if Etienne sits? Bigsby. No, Hunt. Sorry. I'm assuming he's Kareem Hunt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go Hunt in that case.
BTJ or Jason Mason or Jordan Mason?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go.
Oh, he meant
I'd go-
a trade. He meant a trade. Is that a good
Oh.
trade?
Oh,
Maybe. I mean,
I
you
think
might
so.
want to get off of Mason sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think so.
honestly-
Just because I think McCaffrey's coming back.
I'm keeping BTJ. Honestly,
Yeah.
he's proven to be the wide receiver one for the Jags.
Oh my god.
And T Law has been dishing it out to him. I mean, it's made Christian Kirk kind of invisible. He's honestly been the more wide receiver too. So I'd keep BDJ.
Shout
is
out
insane.
user 833878. He just sent a lightning too, so we appreciate all the love.
Yeah, we love the comments. We love the questions.
And then sit one. The fact that he has all these is ridiculous.
He's in he's got to be
Jefferson.
in a 4-man.
He has to sit one. Jefferson, Neighbors, AJ Brown, or St. Brown.
Shit.
Damn.
Is it bad if I want to say Sid Jefferson? Because I mean, if Neighbors is out of concussion protocol, I think he could pop off. He's
Yeah, that's
Danny
true.
Dimes' favorite target. So, based on volume alone, I'd go Neighbors, Brown, St. Brown.
That's tough
Yeah.
because the Lions have been getting kind of cooked on, like their defensive backs have been getting kind of cooked all year.
Oh, and
yeah,
aren't they
you're
playing
right.
the Vikings too?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I probably
Sid
would
St.
say
Brown.
St. Brown.
Sit St. Brown, keep Jefferson. 'Cause
Bigsby or Hunt if ETN's. Oh, we did that.
Yeah, we
Tank,
did that one.
Hubbard, Brian Robinson, or Dobbins. Pick two.
I'm going.
Chuba and Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I'd probably say Chuba and Brian Robinson, or Dobbins, Brian Robinson.
Bills defense versus Titans or Bengals and Browns. I like.
We get that yesterday.
Yeah.
Bills defense.
Bills.
Would you trade Diggs and ETN for London?
No.
No.
We are not big fans of Drake London for those watch on TikTok.
What would you rate? What would you rate this team? Daniels, Kamara, Bijan, JJ, CD, McBride, and Garrett. Give it a solid A-, B+.
I mean, that's a solid team. I mean, Bijan's underperforming this year.
So is CD. So
is CD.
That's why I was like A-, B+.
Big name wise,
yeah,
it's a solid team.
Shout out Joe Lappin for a rose. Thanks for the rose. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Oh, we got 5 lightning bolts. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, and we gained 8 followers from this too, which is cool.
Oh,
This is awesome.
Thanks for the support. I lost. I don't know why it keeps doing this.
Yeah, we'll just start from where you're at right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Plus, we got 13 new messages. We can.
It's starting to fall behind here.
Yeah, we're falling by. Hey,
Right,
click it to go to the new
Let's
messages.
power through. Mason or Bigsby?
Bigsby if Mason's out.
Bigsby, yeah.
Would you? Oh no, not okay. Trade Joe Burrow, Bucky. I get Joe Burrow, Bucky, James Cook, Laporta for Kelsey, Bijan, and Lazard.
No, keep your team.
Yeah.
We keep that.
Starting? Zay Flowers, J-Mo, Stevenson, or Chubb? Damn, that's hard.
Just be careful with Chubb this week. He's probably not going to be full swing.
Yeah.
I'm starting BTJ.
Oh, BTJ. I didn't see that. Sorry. Higgins or Amari?
Higgins.
Mason or Bigsby? Did we do that?
Bigsby.
Okay.
Yeah, we just did that one. He's spamming that one.
Tank Dell.
Just click the 31 messages. We'll get to the bottom. There's just so many.
No, we got
Thank you guys for the likes.
Yeah. Tank Dell, Tyreek, Demario Douglas at flex. What do you think?
Damn, he called us Unk. All right, baby. All right.
Oh, Unk.
Hey, appreciate it there, Tyler.
I'll take it. I don't mind Unk.
Yeah. Honestly, I like my wide receiver 2s this week. So Tank Dell, I think you could start with confidence, and I'd even start Demario Douglas. So either of those two for me.
All right, Drew, Hill or Sutton? With a Bronco fan, would you start Sutton or would you go Tyreek?
I'd probably just go Tyreek just because it's Tyreek.
I think we did this one.
Wait, these are like same comments.
That one. New Orleans against Denver or Vikings against the Lions? Which defense?
Ooh. I like the Vikings. I think Denver's going to win this game against New Orleans tomorrow.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think you can never
out too.
You can never go wrong with the Vikings defense right now.
Sean Payton's revenge game, even though it's not really revenge, I guess.
I didn't even think about that. Dalton or Stafford for QP2?
Dalton. Yeah, I'd probably go Dalton.
Especially with the Commanders' defense the way it is. I trust Dalton. Do you think Barkley performance was a fluke?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
He's gonna end as a RB1 the best running back. Jawan Johnson or Noah Fant. I have Ferguson on bye.
Jawan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson, yeah.
Olave and Rashid are out. You have Bub Means, and then you have Jawan Johnson. Broncos are notorious to giving up a lot of points to tight ends, so Jawan Johnson for sure.
I wonder why they're coming. I don't know. Dak or Mahomes
We're
rest of the
spamming it
season.
so we can see it.
Huh?
Are you asking why they're copied?
Yeah.
They're just trying.
Oh, they're just spamming it.
Trying to get us to answer
Sorry.
it.
Yeah. Cool. We'll get you guys hopefully. Dak or Mahomes rest of the season. I got Mahomes. I don't trust
Both are
Dak,
playing
but
mid,
Mahomes.
but
Yeah, I guess you're right. That is hard, but towards the end of the season, Mahomes is going to turn it on. So
probably Mahomes.
what
Yeah.
about May or Gino?
Gino.
And then J.K. Dobbins a good RB2.
Great RB2.
Great RB2? Yeah, 100% lock that in.
Cup or Cooper?
Cup.
I dropped Kyler for Baker in a one bench league. That's
Good choice.
interesting. A one bench league? That's crazy.
I think it's a good choice too.
Yeah.
That is a great choice.
Call of Duty's about to come out, so
Yeah, true. Would you start Juju, Mooney, or Pittman in a PPR? Probably Juju, no? I would say
Maybe.
Juju. With a PPR, I think he's gonna.
Probably
he got like
go.
8 targets last time.
it's
Yeah,
close
he
between
catches.
Juju and Mooney, but probably
Yeah.
Juju.
Yeah, I'm leaning Juju.
I got Kamara and Henry. Should I still trade Hill for Barkley? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Jenna. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thanks, Jenna. We needed. I like that.
Hey, we just need 100 more likes to get to 2,000. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Amo-
And user 833878 for sending
Yeah.
5 lightning bolts. That's huge.
Didn't even see that.
Thank you
Sorry.
guys.
Got 80 people watching.
There it is. There's 2,000.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Hell
This is
yeah.
crazy. I'm sorry, YouTube. We
sorry.
randomly hit a gold mine tonight. So
What's this trade? Amon Ra for Trey McBride and J.K. Dobbins.
Who wins the trade? Damn, and I have on Monroe.
I mean, I think if you get Trey and J.K., I think you.
It depends if you need a running back and a tight end, but depending on your other receivers. But I think that's a fair trade. Honestly, I don't think anybody really wins on that one. Right? I mean, what do you guys think?
I'm leaning
TikTok.
towards McBride and Dobbins.
TikTok community, while you're here, give us a follow too. Maybe go subscribe to our YouTube channel, D&D Football Pod.
Agree. Especially because we don't just do this; we also do like segments and stuff like that
Yeah,
too.
we have
So
a full show.
give you a type of thing. We just but we'll probably take 5 more, and then we'll go back to the show. How's that sound?
Yeah,
Sorry
let's
for,
do
you,
that.
Works
for the
for us.
YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah.
Wandell, Douglas, McConkley, or MHJ in flex. Douglas.
Douglas, yeah.
I'm leaning Douglas.
I traded Keenan Allen and Tyler Lockett for Pittman and Cooper. Did I win the trade? I think so. The fact that you got Cooper in general.
Yeah, I mean, you
think
traded
won.
2 wide receiver 2s for 2 wide receiver 1s, technically. Yeah,
I like
you won
that.
Trade. Yeah.
Keenan Allen really only had one good game this year, and that was
Yeah.
his last game.
Oh, Lucas. I think that was okay. So he has Amon Ra. This is for the Amon Ra for Trey McBride and J.K. Dobbins. He
Mhm.
says he has Amon Ra, Cooper, BTJ, and Reed. So I think that's a good
And he
trade.
also
for
has
you.
Adams.
Oh, and
Yeah,
Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take. Yeah, that's a win
Definitely
if you
a
get
trade.
McBride and
JK.
J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, that's a good trade.
Hey, thank you, TTV. Optional DC, I think is your name for the follow.
Oh, yeah. Traded Swift and Downs for Brian Robinson and Waddle. Thoughts?
Great trade.
Eagles or Vikings defense? Vikings.
Eagles have been kind of spotty this year on defense.
Yeah, they're 26th in the league currently.
But I would keep them. I wouldn't drop them because they have a crazy easy schedule. Riley said, "Thank you. You're welcome." I think that's how you say.
Thank you, Riley.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the support. Austin E or Tank B?
Oh, I think B-Rob is good to go this week. So if you're looking for RB1, I'd put Tank over Eckler.
And then Mixon or Brian Robinson?
Hmm.
Shout
Maybe
out
Mixon.
Will for the follow.
Yeah, I'd probably say Mixon.
Yeah. I have Allen, Barkley, McBride, and I'm 1-5, so I need to try to get some receivers.
1-5 is pretty tough.
I would go.
You're going to have to sell Barkley. I mean, if you want to get good value in return, because you need wins now, you got to sell that high ticket item right there, which is Barkley. So maybe you can get
Chris Godwin and
Yeah.
some other guys.
Yeah.
What on earth could I get for Tank and Etienne?
As a combo?
You could probably get a pretty decent trade out of that. Dobbins.
Who's like another fringe, like RB2 type, like in rankings? Could you say James Conner? I don't think so.
Maybe Jonathan Taylor right now.
Yeah, JT.
With the injuries going on.
Thanks, Chris Sparks, for the follow.
Hey,
and then
for the people, oh, go ahead.
Just
Sorry.
last one, and then we got it.
Yeah.
My friend sent me DJ Moore, James Conner, Josh Downs, and Saquon. This is going to be the last question. We're going to continue with our show, but we'll promise we'll get more live. As you know, if we get feedback like this, we'll for sure go live more often.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
DJ Moore, James Conner, and Josh Downs for Saquon. I mean, that ain't bad. I mean, DJ's on bye this week. I like James Conner. He's solid. Josh Downs has put up good numbers, but if AR comes into the picture, his value drops. So
yeah,
you could be losing a little bit in value there. What are your thoughts, Drew and Nim?
Yes. So this is the person.
I have to see the rest of your team, but
yeah, but this is the person. Isn't this the one that needs some? Where was she? Or was she new? Oh, maybe I think she was.
That's a
I
new
would recognize
person.
the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I really like Saquon. The only reason I would is that if you need more depth in your lineup, but if you don't, I would just keep Saquon. Okay, so let's go. We really appreciate the support, you guys. Like this was
this was awesome. Thank you guys so much.
We do have a show on YouTube that we also go to TikTok, so stay tuned. We are gonna do fantasy advice and stuff like that, and then if we still have people left over, maybe we'll hang on a little longer.
Definitely, yeah. The TikTok community, check us out before the games. We're gonna try to start going live before a lot of the games throughout the week. It might be a little bit of a random schedule, but I'm hoping we get to the point where we're going live before each first game on Sunday. And I guess if there's London games, we have to really think about getting up early and stuff like that. But
6 a.m.
We are a new program, so we're still trying to figure out like the time area because I'm on Pacific time, Darian's on Central time, and then Drew's on Eastern time. But we'll try to do maybe even like Friday or something like that, so people kind of can finalize a roster. We'll have to talk internally and talk about that, but we really appreciate the support. And YouTube,
this
if
was
you're
awesome.
Still watching, thanks for sticking with us. We'll take a little TikTok break. All right.
So let's
go back to the program.
Let's get back to the show. I gotta pee after all that.
Sounds good.
We'll take like a
Let's
2-minute
break.
intermission.
Yeah.
So let's take a
break.
2-minute break and we'll come back and we'll do the fantasy portion of our show. Welcome back. Well, that was pretty awesome. Nice little surge of energy came.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was really cool. Thanks for the support.
If you're still watching on TikTok, come join us on YouTube. We're going to get back into our show. We're a fantasy football show. We had some news to talk about today. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of that. I did want to talk about one story in specific, the George Pickens, Amon-Ra story. But let's, you know what? Let's talk about that story right now. I would like to start the second part of our show with that discussion. So George Pickens had this interview today with a show on FS1 called The Facility.
Mhm.
And he said on the show, when they asked him, like, how is the world going to view you as like a top receiver? He said, I probably say schematically is the big thing in football. That's when you get someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown, slot merchants. That's schematically getting fed the ball. When it comes to that, I ain't playing QB, O-line, and defense at all, or all at once. So schematically, that's probably the biggest thing in that way for me to really show the world a bigger platform over my game style. So my question to you guys, this was shocking to me. Is this shade at Amon-Ra? And do you think Amon-Ra will respond to this? Nimmer, why don't you go first?
I think I can see where he's coming from. Like, if you have to be in a good system in order to be a good wide receiver. I mean, let's look at Devontae Adams, for example. He's a great receiver, but in a bad system, he won't be good. Amari Cooper is the exact same thing. In a bad system with a bad quarterback, you're not going to be a good receiver. I think that's where he's coming from. I might be biased because I'm a huge Steelers fan, but I think that's where he's coming from. And so I don't know. I mean, honestly, he should just keep his mouth shut. Me being a Steelers fan and everything, I love George Pickens, but he just needs to keep his mouth shut, especially because he hasn't been performing. If he's top 5 receiver, okay, then you kind of can talk your crap, but come on, man. There's no need for this, especially as a receiver. A Steeler receiver. Come on. Like, I don't know.
Garen, what are your thoughts on this situation?
let me pick some stats up here. Um, I mean, to Nimmer's point, I don't know if I can agree that you have to have a good system to be a good wide receiver. Devontae was in that same system last year and was wide receiver 12 or finished wide receiver 12. He wasn't top 10 like we all thought he would, but he was top 15 with Aiden O'Connell throwing him the ball. But I mean, let's talk about Pickens. Pickens, I don't even think you were in talks last year. Targets, he tied for 19th on the year. Receptions tied for 20th. And then receiving yards, he had 18th. And I don't know how many touchdowns he had last year, but to compare himself and say that Amon Ra is a slot merchant, you got to just stay in your lane, bud. Get a good QB underneath, get open, catch the damn ball, and then you can talk when you're a top 10 wide receiver. You can't say that to Godwin. You can't say that to Amon Ra. You can't say that to even Garrett Wilson. You're like, come on, bud. Let's shape it up. Just go out there and produce. And then when you're close to those guys that were mentioned, then we can talk. Then we could have this kind of battle. But right now, it's just keep your mouth closed and produce.
Yeah, so I didn't watch the full interview. I did watch when he said this, and to me, I was like watching it, and I was thinking, was he trying to say someone else, like a different slot receiver? Because I think what he's trying to say, one, yes, the scheme is kind of what makes you as a receiver, which that's up for agreement or disagreement. And two, honestly think he's saying like the slot receiver position is easier than being out wide, which don't love that. And I could see that. I mean, a lot of people have kind of undercut Cooper Kupp because of that, saying that the Golden Glove season was because he was a slot receiver, and if he was out wide, that maybe wouldn't have happened. I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say he was probably talking about slot receivers in a certain way, and I think he was trying to get to a different name, but Amon Ra was the one that popped out. And yeah, I think that's a mistake. I mean, Amon Ra has been one of the most consistent receivers in the league. I do think Amon Ra is going to respond to this. I would bet money that Amon Ra is going to respond to this.
He's got
I
his
don't
own
think he's
pod.
gonna respond. Yeah. Oh, maybe on his pod. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll probably
He's
just
gonna
write it on a
respond
piece
on
of
his pod.
paper and put it in his locker and call it that sort of thing.
And I just wonder if Pickens is kind of in his feelings, because 2 weeks ago against the Cowboys, Jordan Lewis was like, yeah, George Pickens is weak. And he said that over and over again for like the media to hear it. And I just kind of wonder if he's in his feelings about how this is kind of working out. And he's been open on a lot of plays, but like the offense just really hasn't messed yet. So
I mean, it's an Arthur Smith offense. It's not a wide receiver heavy offense. You know what I mean? Like, but I thought that he would, since there's no other receivers, he would do a lot better than he's doing right now. But come on, man, you're in a funk. Don't try to bring. And plus, you
More
should know,
attention
no
to
matter
himself.
what you do when you bring somebody's name into it, like there's no reason to put a name in it. You know, like you could have just said slot receiving or slot receivers have it easier than wideouts. Just left it at that. That's it.
right.
But I don't know.
And I think it also, like, I mean, to his credit, I think with how NFL defenses have been evolving over the years, seeing that it has been a passing centric league, the outside corners have been imperative to have. You want your lockdowns, you want your sausage, you want your Jalen Ramsey's, anybody that's going to lock down that wide receiver one, which ultimately then does open it up for wide receiver twos or even wide receiver threes that so happen to be in the slot. So, I mean, to his credit, yes, defenses are evolving so that the wide receiver one is knocked out. But I think as the game continues to grow, uh, nickel defenses are going to be huge. Dime defenses are huge. So you're going to see more of a presence of slot corners being picked in like the top ends of the first round in drafts because you want to cover the slot now. So we'll see everything kind of change back and forth over the next couple of years, where perhaps wide receiver ones who are on the outside are now going to be top of the game as opposed to slots. So to his credit, give him benefit of the doubt. The league is always ever changing. Shit, there's even thoughts that no one should run cover two. Thank you, Mel
Yeah.
Kiper.
Fucking dumbass.
But all that goes to say, the game is always changing, always evolving, especially the defense, especially in these recent times.
Yeah, I think George Pickens needs to be a little careful because there is this history with Steelers receivers that is kind of dark. You had guys that have really been talented. George Pickens is another talented receiver that the Steelers have brought in. They seem to have an eye for receivers, but you think about the path that Chase Claypool went down and Antonio Brown went down, Juju Smith-Schuster went down. Like, you don't want to be that next guy.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of that has really kind of been nipped in the butt just because Deontay Johnson is doing really well with the Panthers, and then now Juju's actually doing real well with the Chiefs. So I mean, they're not having excellent careers as well as they did in the Steelers, but it's not having bad. Like, it's not no AB or anything like that, but.
Yeah.
There's no better place than Pittsburgh, so it's fine.
I can name a few others, Plaxico Burress.
I meant the Steelers organization, not the actual place. But even though Pittsburgh is beautiful, but it is what it is.
But yeah, that was a shocking story today that I thought that came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I hate when Steelers players like talk crap. Like, that, do it on the field. You know what I mean? Like, come on. That's how the Steeler way should be. That's the Steeler. That is the Steeler way. So I don't know.
I also saw Patrick Queen in an interview saying that Russ is making all the throws in practice and he looks really, really good.
Interesting.
Hey,
I saw this. I saw on Yahoo Fantasy. It was like 62,000 people dropped Justin Fields.
Wow.
I was like, damn. He hasn't even been denounced that people are already dropping him.
I think that's a little early to be doing that.
Way too early. I have Fields in every single one of my leagues, so I'm not dropping him. I mean, he's a good quarterback too, but I don't know. None of the questions we answered today, none of them had Fields, so it was stupid having that be my quarterback too. So,
I mean, Fields right now is the quarterback 8 in fantasy, so it's not like he's been a bum for fantasy.
Yeah, it's just
rushing upside.
I was gonna say, but that's really what the key is to a quarterback in fantasy is really just like having
rushing touchdowns.
Upside, so
yeah. Well, let's get into trade targets. So we've done this for the past couple weeks. We are giving you guys buy low. Oops. Oh, and now you see him on YouTube. It's okay though. Hey, they don't see him on TikTok, so it's okay. But we have been giving you buy low candidates that we think you should be trading for right now. Last week, if you were watching, I said to go trade for Amari Cooper. It's already too late to do that. He was just traded to the Bills. You should have done it last week. But we will give you more trade targets, buy low trade targets this week. Darian, why don't you start with this?
Yeah, I think we touched on him, or I touched on him a moment ago, but it's going to be Christian Kirk. He's honestly got the makings of a fine wide receiver 2 for your team. He's had some pretty disappointing weeks. Don't get me wrong. He put up 0.9 points in one game, and then another low was, I think, 4.1, and then a 6.9 game. But he did peak, I think it was week 4, maybe week 5, being at 19.1 points. So he's a perfect buy low candidate right now. But also the Jags, their offense isn't the best. So they're going to be playing down in games, so which means T-Law is going to be passing more, which means more target opportunities for Christian Kirk, which then means more opportunities to score. I don't know what was going on our YouTube stream there, but yeah. With that being said, Kirk is a terrific buy low candidate right now, just to throw, get on your bench, maybe throw him in the flex here for the next coming weeks.
Number, who do you got for your trade target?
So before my trade target, we actually just surpassed 3,000 likes. So we got that 3K by our name. So really appreciate all of those likes. Can we get to 4 though? That's the main question. But
yeah,
mine is Jalen Hurts. I really like. Honestly, it's not even just Jalen Hurts. We could talk about really anybody from the Eagles. Saquon's going to be obviously a lot harder to grab right now, but I think Jalen Hurts. I actually just traded with him in one of my leagues today. He's ranked quarterback 13 and averages around 17 points per game. But that was also without A.J. Brown, without his whole entire receiving core, right? Because A.J. Brown was hurt, then Devontae Smith was hurt, and then all of that. So just make sure. Okay, you can hear me. And looking at the rest of his schedule, he has really 2 hard defenses. That's the Steelers and the Raiders. The Steelers and the Ravens. Those are the 2 best defenses that he's going to face all year. I would really look to try to trade for Jalen Hurts. You probably could get him with a bag of chips. I traded with him for Dowdle from the Cowboys. That's who the person that had Hurts wanted, and I was like, that's a fair trade, so you can get him for pretty cheap. It was, obviously I won that, but yeah. And then his first game with all 3 weapons, he got 21 fantasy points. So,
And my target, before I get into mine, TikTok community, I want to say again, we love you. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing. D&T Football Pod, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube. We are on YouTube right now. We were answering questions earlier. I know there's a lot of questions in the chat right now. We will come back to you a little later for those questions. Right now we're in the show. We're doing our fantasy football show right now. So we're just going to be talking about fantasy football. We'll get to your questions here in a second.
We go live. Just 1 second. Just wanted to tell our TikTok community, we do go live Tuesday and Wednesday. That's when we do the show. We will try to go live different days as we talked about before. So just keep an eye out on that.
Definitely. My trade target, and this one could be a shot in the dark, certainly, but I think Raheem Mostert is a buy low candidate that you should be trading for right now. We talked about this when all the TikTok questions came up, so I don't want to repeat myself, but I do think that there is some injury concern with Achane. He's good to go this week. He's going to play, they're saying, but I do wonder what this backfield looks like with Achane and Mostert and Jalen Wright all healthy. Are they going to use a committee type style? And is there a chance Achane gets hurt again? If Achane does get hurt, even if it's a small injury, I think Mostert could be a very valuable player as maybe your flex. That would be like the perfect flex guy late in the season if Achane isn't available. This guy scored 24 touchdowns last year. It broke, I think, records for the Dolphins. So it was a really, really good year for Mostert last year. I think he's worth a trade right now. And honestly, you could probably put one of your guys on the bench and trade for Mostert and land him. I think that would be a smart trade right now. But let's get into our starter sit for this weekend. So you've seen this on other shows. We're going to give it to you, our version of it. We are all going to give you a player we think you should start and a player that you should sit. So, Nimmer, why don't you start us off? Who's your start and who's your sit?
So I really like this person. You would get him in the later rounds if you drafted him. He was so hyped up in the offseason. And then during the season, he ended up being RB2, and then now he's starting to build up. So I really like Chase Brown against the Cleveland Browns this week. I think that he's turning into the RB1. He has the coach's trust with Moss fumbling it early in the game last week. And he also has 3 straight games with a touchdown. So I really like that. And against the Browns, I like that. My sit, however, and it pains me so much to talk about this, but I really don't like George Pickens. And we kind of mentioned it earlier in the questions. I really don't like anybody in the Steelers. If you have them, try to trade them away while their value is still high, because the Steelers' schedule from now on is rough. So I think that, especially with George Pickens, with Russ going in, taking first team reps. So now you have Russ throwing to you, and then the next rep you have Justin Fields. One drive you have Russ, then you have Fields, Russ, Fields, Russ, Fields. It's really hard to get that chemistry between wide receiver and quarterback when you have 2 quarterbacks that you have to try to get chemistry for. So I really don't like Justin Fields. Plus, he hasn't got a single touchdown this year, and he's had his back-to-back games. He's only had 3 receptions. So I really don't like George Pickens. I'm sorry. I love you, and I really hope that the Steelers win, but I'm not starting you in my fantasy team.
I'll start him on Raw, though, George. Darian, why don't you get into your start and sit?
Yeah, my first start, it's actually kind of an expanded list. It's going to start off with T. Higgins. I think he's a solid start. You can start him with confidence, but I'm going to expand it outward to all wide receiver 2s. That meaning Tank Dell, Jordan Addison, T. Higgins, and Devontae Smith all have great matchups this week going forward. I mean, especially with Tank, with Collins being on IR, Diggs going to be covered by Jair, going to free up opportunities for him. T's been peppered the past couple of weeks, and then Addison is going against the Lions defense, who, quite frankly, are, I think, bottom 3 when it comes to pass defense, especially that in the slot, which is probably where he's going to be lining up, or the second outside wide receiver. And then Devontae, he always produces. Hurts always tries to find him. So those 4 guys, I think, are going to have solid games this week. Now, my sit may be a little bit controversial. We've been hyping him up ever since the trade happened yesterday. That I'm going to sit is Amari Cooper. I say this because he's going to go up against L'Jarius Sneed, who's notorious for being strapped down against wide receiver 1s. Currently, Tennessee is ranked 2 when it comes to pass defense. So let's keep that in mind, especially now that Amari is coming into a new system, a new QB. It's just going to have a little bit of a hitch getting in and getting ready to understand this offense. So I would sit him this week, but afterward, he's definitely a guaranteed starter in your lineup.
And my start this weekend is, where is it? Justin Herbert versus Arizona. I think watching this pass game with the Broncos and the Chargers, you saw the offense for the Chargers open up a little bit. It looked like Herbert had his best day passing the football. I think it was the first time hitting over 250 yards. So I think that's a good sign for Justin Herbert. If you have him on the bench, I would start him depending on who your QB1 is. There's a lot of QB1s out there this week that don't have the best matchups. I think this matchup with Arizona for Justin Herbert is a really good matchup. If Herbert's out there on the waiver wire in your league, I would say go pick him up and try to play him this week, because I think he's going to have a good week against the Cardinals this week. And my sit is the Titans receivers versus the Bills. The Bills right now, I think, are the 6th ranked defense against the pass. I don't love the situation for the Titans receivers in general. You heard Calvin Ridley last week say, I need to get more targets, and he was super upset after the game. He ended the game with 0 targets, 0 receptions, he ended the first half with 0 targets, 0 receptions. I think he got some targets in the second half. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't really had that great of a year. And really, it just comes down to the quarterback. I don't think Will Levis is very good. And this defense for the Bills is one of those underrated defenses this year in the league. I think this is a bad matchup. I wouldn't start any Titans receiver this week. Let's get on to our fantasy outlook segment. So this is a segment we just came up with a couple weeks ago. We are going to talk about a certain player, and we'll talk about their next couple matchups. We'll tell you if we feel good about this player during this portion of the season, or if we're a little concerned about them. So this will not only help you with your current matchup, but the next 2 matchups following that. Nimmer, why don't you start? Who is your fantasy outlook?
My fantasy outlook just touched up on his quarterback. I really like AJ Brown. So Darian, if you want to trade, just hit my line. Don't. And it's AJ Brown. For those, I texted Darian and I was like, "Hey, what do you want for AJ Brown?" And he was like, "So what about CD?" And I was like, "No, I don't want CD. I want AJ Brown." So I really like the Eagles. The rest of the schedule, kind of talked about that earlier, but the next 3 are the Giants, Cincy, and Jacksonville, which we all know. The one that's kind of weary is Cincy, but that defense just is not it. He just came back from injury, so he's had 9 targets for over 100 yards and a TD. Him and Hurts are really gelling well together. So I would really like to, or I would try to get AJ Brown, especially when people are trying to get Adams and Cooper. You can easily swing by, squeeze in, and try to get AJ.
Darren, who do you have for your fantasy outlook?
Yeah, my guy is going to be Ramondre Stevenson, and this isn't a good outlook. I'm just going to be. I'm going to be completely frank. All right, this week he does have a favorable matchup, but that goes to say the next 3 after that he's got the Jets, Tennessee, and then Chicago. So just to further break that down, Jets are currently 10th against the run. Tennessee is 9th against the run. And then Chicago, they may be middle of the pack at 14, but they just held the Jaguars to a combined 68 total rushing yards, where only it was 28 via D'Ernest and 24 from Tank Bigsby. So they showed signs of being a pretty lockdown run defense as well. If Stevenson has a great game this week, he is a sell high candidate. Get him when his value is at his peak and try to get something of a fringe high, or I should say a high-end RB2, an upgrade in that portion. Because those next 3, you're probably going to be wet in the bed there and slapping yourself because you didn't sell Stevenson. So, his outlook, not too good. Post this week.
My outlook player, this is another player I have concerns about, much like Darian's concerns with Stevenson. This is Kyler Murray, and that's spelled wrong, but that's okay.
Sorry. Oh, you know what? I didn't even change it. I wonder if I can change it.
It's okay.
It's all good, my guy.
But anyways, Kyler Murray. So this week he's going up against the Chargers. They are a top 10 passing defense right now. The following week they have the Dolphins. They're a top 10 passing defense, surprisingly. The week after that they have the Bears, one of the top 3 passing defenses in the league. And after that they have the Jets, another top 10 passing defense. So that's number 1. Number 2, Call of Duty is about to come out. I have the timer on my phone as well. It comes out in 8 days and 5 hours or something like that. So I'm excited for it. I know Kyler's excited for it. This is the time to start worrying about Kyler in fantasy football. If you look at the stats historically, right around October when Call of Duty drops, his numbers plummet. And I can kind of see that happening. Maybe not because of Call of Duty, but you look at these matchups. The Chargers, the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Jets. He might have some success against some of these teams. I am worried about his matchup this week with the Chargers. If you watch the Cardinals last week against the Packers, they looked awful. They looked terrible. They couldn't get anything going on offense. Kyler looked flustered the whole time. I think this is going to be a rough patch for the Cardinals. So my outlook for Kyler Murray right now is not very good. If you have him, I would try to pick up someone on the waivers. One of those
Justin Herbert,
if he's on the waivers. You might even be able to get away with
Geno's.
Bo Nix or Geno or Daniel Jones, depending on the matchup. Kyler right now is not looking. It's not looking too hot, I don't think.
I have Kyler Murray and Justin Fields.
That's what I have in my other league too.
you should just keep Fields, but
I know, but I was gonna add Geno, but I don't even know who I should drop. But anyway.
you just drop DK. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, might as well.
Anyways, let's get on to the Against the Spread segment. So we've been doing this every week. If you're on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see the big fancy graphic that we have, but we have this board of the matchups. We have our records. TikTok, if you're on TikTok right now, get on YouTube, DNT Football Pod, subscribe, and then watch the show. I mean, we got a great show for you here. So this is our Against the Spread. For those that can't see the record, I am in first place, 53-39. Pretty good. I don't know what happened, but I'm climbing this victory margin. Nimmer is in second place, 46-46, and then Darian, he's 44-48. So much like his fantasy record, he's like, hey, but he beat me though. He beat me in fantasy.
Low blow.
I know that hurt.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I did.
Shout
anyways.
out Huge Moji. He said, "I love this followed." So thank you.
We love you, huge whatever.
Huge emoji.
It's Huge Moji.
You're crazy for that.
That's so
But let's get into the picks. Let me get them pulled up on my phone so we can.
Yeah,
Some-
I'm gonna have
some-
this active.
Sometimes I'm like, this is who I'm picking, and then Nimmer puts my D on the board, and it's not who I picked, and I'm like, oh, I guess
Put your D on the board.
he puts my D on that board. So
I'll go
We're
first.
demonetized.
I think that the Saints have too many injuries, and I like the Broncos at 1.5.
who you got, Darren?
Yeah, with the news that both Olave and Shaheed is out, I'm gonna have to switch my answer up so you can drag that D across the screen.
There we go.
Let's put it on the Broncos.
Already dragging D's tonight. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more of that. I actually think there's going to be quite a few upsets this week.
Yeah, there has to be.
This last week was a pretty easy week to predict. This week, I think it's much harder.
Mhm.
I can already see the headline now for this game after the game. Broncos rattle Rattler.
Ooh,
So-
it's like you work
I
for
think-
the news or something.
Yeah, something like that. But I think the Broncos cover this 1.5 points. Sean Payton's coming home to New Orleans, where he started his long tenured head coaching career. He might have been somewhere else before that, but that's too old for me. I'm taking the Broncos to cover here against the Saints. Next, we have the Patriots at the Jaguars. Nobody's watching this game. Nobody on TikTok, nobody on YouTube, nobody in this country is watching this game. Even you Patriots fans, you don't want to watch this game. Who wants to watch this game?
Why are all the crappy games overseas? Have you noticed that?
Oh man, I saw this.
Crazy.
I saw this. This meme that was like, if they're like, we should enact a new rule in the NFL. If you lose in London, you have to stay there until you get a win.
All right, well, Jacksonville's going to be there forever.
Yeah, for real.
So Jaguars back to back.
That is so funny. It is funny how every time, like every season, the moment they come back, like a team comes back, they fire their head coach. There's always that one team. So,
But anyways, two terrible teams going up against each other. Maybe some good plays out of Drake May because everybody's looked good against this Jaguars defense. Darian, who do you have covering here?
Yeah, just like you said, both teams are bad, but the spread being almost a touchdown, I think that's a bit too much. I think the Patriots, they cover this. I do think the Jags win. I saw the stat that they're 13-8 after the first game in London, or whenever they're at London, they go 13-8 the rest of the season. So I got the Patriots covering though, but the Jags win by like 3.
Nimmer, who do you got covering here?
yeah,
in London?
I agreed, but then I also remembered that there's like the jet lag. Like it's such a weird for players and it's gonna just throw their routine completely off, that long plane ride and stuff like that. So I like the Patriots, but then I think the Jags. Actually, no, I'm gonna switch back because I think that the Jags win, but I think it's gonna be by 3. I don't think it's gonna be by more than the touchdown.
Yeah, the Jags being favored here by 5.5 points. I'm taking the Patriots. I think that's too many points. I do think the Jags win, just like Darian said.
Definitely choose the under too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely don't watch it. I mean, just don't even waste your time. Maybe sleep in. Maybe sleep in this Sunday.
So funny.
Then you have Seattle coming to Atlanta. This is, I think, going to be an interesting game. Nimmer, who do you have covering here?
I really like the Falcons. So just I like them.
Darren, who do you got?
Swag surfing, maybe. Give me the Falcons.
So I think this is one of the upsets along with Denver. I think Denver, I guess, is favored. But this is one of the upsets I'm picking. I'm picking Seattle to win this game in Atlanta. Titans at Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 8.5 points. Man, do we agree with this? Nimmer, what do you think?
Yeah, it feels like a trap. Actually, it feels like a good line. I feel like if it was like 6.5, then it'd feel like a trap type of thing. But I have to choose the Bills. There's no way I can go against go for the Titans.
What do you think,
I
Gary?
mean, the Titans' defense is sneaky good, but are they as good as the Jets' defense?
Absolutely not. There's no way.
So, with that in my mind, I don't think they keep the game close like the Jets do. So, I got the Bills covering.
Yeah, I could see Levis making mistakes in this game, or he's at the point where he's too scared to make the mistake, so he just sucks. So I'm taking the Bills. Bengals at Browns. The Bengals are favored by 4.5, so just over a field goal. Nimmer, who do you have covering here?
I like the Browns. I mean the Bengals. This is a must win. They're in a really bad spot, so they need to win these easy games in order to stay afloat.
What do you think, Darian?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the Browns losing Amari, you got Jerry Jeudy that's leading your wide receiver core, and Elijah Moore who's been quiet. Yeah, give me the Bengals in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Bengals too. We're all on the Bengals. Browns are terrible. Texans at Packers. The Packers are favored by 2.5 points. Darian, I'll start with you. Who do you have covering here in Green Bay?
Yeah, I think this will be a fun one to watch. I really hope I get it on my area, but I think the Texans they cover this one. I think they actually come out on top too.
Stream East, baby. Yeah, I agree with Darian. You gotta go with the Texans.
I'm going with the Packers. It's a tough place to play, Green
Mhm.
Bay. Houston hasn't really looked all that good this year, and Green Bay just came off a pretty good win against the Cardinals. So I'm going to take Green Bay.
Is it a good win against the Cardinals?
They made them look like
Yeah,
shit. They got the most.
I
They have the
guess.
most takeaways on defense in the league this year.
Yeah.
But they are someone to think about. The Dolphins at Indianapolis, probably another game no one's watching. Indy is favored by 3.5 points. Nimmer, who are you taking to
I
cover
was
here?
on. I keep waffling back and forth. I was on the Colts, but I think that the Dolphins are gonna cover. I think it's gonna be a close game. The Colts. It was a close game between them and the Titans. I think that the Dolphins have too much firepower. I don't think they could be that bad for that much longer. I like the Colts. I mean the Dolphins.
Darren, who do you think?
I just hope that Flacco is in at QB. If it's AR, it could change. This could be a change for me, but
He was just deemed as healthy today. AR.
Yeah, so he's playing.
still give me the Colts. I like them over the Dolphins. I think they cover.
Yeah, give me the Colts too. I think Dolphins just are a little lost right now with Huntley.
Yeah.
Lions at the Vikings. Minnesota is favored by 2.5 points. Minnesota is still undefeated, and the Lions are one of the best offenses in the league. So this is going to be a key matchup in division rivalry. Nimmer, who do you think covers here?
I like the Vikings. I think it's gonna be a 3-point game, so it's really gonna be like who kicks that last field goal. But I like the Vikings. I don't think that the Lions really have played a tough defense just yet. So I think the Vikings are gonna kind of surprise them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite of you though. I think the Lions get that last field goal, win it. So I just think that offense is just too electric, and they just find a way to win in the last minutes of the game.
I have a weird feeling about this game, and we kind of talked about it yesterday. I really don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a really scrappy game. I'm just going to pick the Lions if they can manage to run the ball early. I think that will be their game plan for the rest of the game, and they can win the game that way. Eagles at Giants. Eagles coming off a weird win against the Browns that was pretty close game. Their offense looked terrible, and you had Sirianni chirping at his own fans. But
Oh my God.
they're going up against
So
the
weird.
Giants. They are favored by 3.5 points. Who do you have covered here, Nim?
I like the Eagles. I can definitely see this being like another trap game, but I think that the Eagles finally have all their starters back, and the Giants are so bad.
What do you think, Darian?
I mean, I'm a Commanders fan, and it's hard to say that the other teams are actually doing pretty good, but the Giants are kind of surprising. I mean, the offenses seem to be clicking. Defense has been decently stout. They did just lose Andrew Thomas, though, season-ending injury. That significantly hurts their offense. And then Neighbors is still on concussion protocol. So with that, and then the Eagles being at full strength, that is what's getting me to lean towards the Eagles covering.
Yeah, I just think the Eagles are too good. I mean, the Giants have played decent quarterbacks, and seems like every team's coming out on top of them in these games. So I'm just going to take the Eagles. I think they got too much talent. Do you think Saquon's going to get booed in New York?
No, because it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it's going to be a standing O. He's going to get.
He has
You
to.
think so?
on the field.
I feel like
Yeah.
they only get booed when it's like a free agency and then they go to another team.
He said
But
today in a press conference, "I don't expect to get booed," and that made me think, "Oh, the fans are going to boo you now that you said that."
yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that.
I mean, you kind of asked for it now, but
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like we all saw the Hard Knocks. I feel like if it wasn't for Hard Knocks, then probably. But
yeah.
it kind of just showed that the Giants just booted him out. So it would be messed up if the New York fans booed him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Raiders at Rams. The Rams are favored by 5.5 points here. Raiders look pretty lost. Rams are not very good either. So, Darian, who do you got covered here?
Yeah, I just think the offense for the Rams, if Cup is back, it's stronger. That Raider defense is going to get cut up, even with Whittington and Robinson. They'll still cut them up. So I got the Rams covering this. They win by a touchdown.
Oops, that's me. I agree.
Yeah, I'm going Rams. If Cup's back, this will be the first real test for the Raiders as a defense. They've
Mhm.
really haven't faced a ton of really good passing teams yet. And this is just the beginning of like the really good passing teams. So I'm going to take the Rams here. Panthers at Commanders. It's been interesting to watch the Commanders. I think they've been the most entertaining team this year by far. They had a game last week where they hung in with the Ravens. They are favored by 7.5 points, so they're favored over a touchdown against the Panthers. Darian, I'll go to you since you're the Commanders fan. Let's hear it.
I'm not straying. Give me the Commanders by 10.
What do you think, Nim?
Yeah, I think the Commanders' offense is just too much for the Panthers, and I mean, even though the Commanders' defense isn't that good, I think that they're just a better team. The Panthers are in shambles.
Honestly, I think that defense is starting to come together a little bit. The D line and the linebackers are playing well. The DBs surprised me last week against the Ravens.
They're
I
still
think this
putting up
is
30 points though. Like it's hard to
yeah.
say that they're a good defense when they're getting 30
We
points.
did just lose Jonathan Allen, too. He tore his pectoral. But it was good that we got Jerzon Newton in the second round. So we'll have him in pain. It's going to be kind of rough for the rookie, but just get in there and make some plays. But I love the linebackers, Wagner, Luvu, and then Jamin Davis is playing defensive end, converts to an outside linebacker. I like it.
Give me the Commanders. The Chiefs are coming to San Francisco. Really wish McCaffrey was playing in this game. Nimmer, who do you have covering here?
My question is, why is this not a Sunday night football game or a Monday night
That's
football game? Why is this not
pretty
a
weird.
primetime game? This doesn't make any sense. We're gonna put the Broncos and Saints on a primetime game, but not the Super Bowl, the old Super Bowl matchup. How does that not make sense? It's gonna be on my next Rage Cage, but I think that the Chiefs are. I mean, the Chiefs just came back from a bye. I'm still gonna go with the Niners. I think that they're gonna come out with a revenge. There's less people hurt. The Chiefs are still kind of banged up, still trying to get all their pieces together. So, yeah.
What do you think, Darian?
The Chiefs just find a way to win, and they're going to do it here too.
Yeah, I think they win by a touchdown. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. And the actual night game, I actually love this game. I think this is going to be a really entertaining game.
Are you
Jets.
serious? I don't think it's going to be entertaining at all.
Hey, if Russ is out there for the first time, a lot of headlines going on.
Yeah, I guess.
Devontae's first start for the Jets. Russ's
couldn't
first
have waited
start.
one more week. Like, come on. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So you're picking the Steelers, Nim?
I have to. Yeah, there's no other choice.
What do you got, Darren?
Gosh. Yeah. I think I did this before the trade,
You did this yesterday. What do you mean? You did it after the show.
I did it. No, I did it on Tuesday, or
Oh,
excuse
I
me,
see. Okay.
on Monday, and then
I'll switch it.
had it in my log. But yeah, give me the Jets. I think that it's
You
just
sent that in, and I was like, bro, you just said we are gonna get smacked yesterday, and you're gonna be picking the Steelers now.
yeah. No, I got to change
Fair enough.
my sales there.
Shit,
Yeah,
if these are
give me
on
the
top of each
Jets.
other.
Yeah, give me the Jets too. I think this could be the first
Of many.
time that the defensive backs for the Steelers kind of get a little exposed here. I mean, these are two really good receivers they're going up against, so it's going to be interesting.
The only hope that I'm really have, not the only, but there's two hopes. There's one that the Bills ran all over the Jets defense, and so I'm hoping that since a run heavy offense is going to run all over the Jets defense. My second is that T.J. Watt, like the Jets O line is really bad. I think this Aaron Rodgers has been hit so many times. So with JJ coming back, I mean with TJ there, I think that it's gonna be harder for him to throw those deep balls. So that's my hope.
Ravens at Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have kind of had a weird up and down kind of season, but they look good. The Ravens have, I think they're the number one offense right now in the league. So, Darian, who do you got covering here?
Yeah, I think it's a boomer bust type of scenario with the Bucks, and I think they bust this week, and the Ravens, they cover this.
Who do you got?
Yeah, I think that the Ravens are just too strong for the Bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm going to take the Ravens. I think they're playing at a pretty high level right now. So
that's going to be the game I'm going to be watching, not the other crappy game.
We have the final game, Chargers at Arizona against the Cardinals. The Chargers are favored here by 2.5 points. Who do you guys have coming? Never, I'll start with you.
I like the Chargers. I like how they looked against the Broncos, and the Cardinals are still trying to find their pieces. So trying to get into that rhythm still. So I like the Chargers.
What do you think, Darian?
Give me the Bolts. I like the Chargers in this one. Yeah, the Cardinals are just so wishy-washy.
Yeah, before the season started, the Raiders were my surprise team. I think I probably should have picked the Chargers because they look like they might get into the playoffs here if they can keep winning like they have been.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's shout out Nate Cooper real quick. So we have a good friend of ours. His name is Nate Cooper. He kind of inspired me. I put in a bet just like this for this weekend, a $1 bet, but he hit a 14 pick parlay. So those on TikTok, you can't see it, but he picked every single winner. He picked the money line for each game. He put in $5 for this bet and he won nearly $2,500.
Yeah.
So shout out Nate Cooper
too, Drew.
I know. I had all these picks. That's why I'm like, I got to do this now. I got to just put in $1 bet every weekend.
Might as well.
He said he hit one of those last year at the end of the year, and he's already hit this one to pretty much start the year. Yeah. He's hoping to get another one. I said, if you hit another one, we'll give you a spot on our show as a guest that week.
You're going to be in charge of this next segment, 100%.
Yeah. You will do the locks of the week, baby.
So, yeah, let's get into the locks of the week.
All right. So, as always, gamble responsibly. So, I really only have one parlay. I really like this parlay, so I really only just want to stick with this one. It's on the screen, and I like these anytime touchdown scorers. I love Chase Brown. Chase Brown has been hit, in or scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. AJ Brown has got a touchdown in both of the games that he's played in so far. George Kittle is 4 straight games, and Kyron Williams in 5 straight games. So we're taking the hot hand, and we're trying to get, or we're hoping that all of these guys will continue scoring touchdowns for us. Again, that's Chase Brown, AJ Brown, George Kittle, and Kyron Williams to score a touchdown any time in the game. So that's that's the lock of the week.
We love it.
Make sure you follow those bets. Nimmer's giving out some pretty good picks this year. Me and Darian took over last week, and we were so close on our bets, but we couldn't do it like Nim. So
Bro, I want to go over mine again and how it almost hit. This makes me really sad. And I said to pick 4 of these that I'm gonna give out and flip flop. I said pick Monty, pick Debo, pick Bijan as like a true lock. And then the flip flop would have been Tolbert, Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. dropped a motherfucking touchdown.
every single receiver for the Jaguars dropped a touchdown, including him.
Bro. And then I didn't say it on the stream, but I said multi-touchdown. I was talking with Drew. I was like, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Henry against the Commanders defense.
He did say that, folks. I was there.
He was there.
First touchdown, honestly, that's a lock too. Henry scored a first touchdown in like 3 games. Even like the first drive, it's insane.
And my bet last week was anytime touchdown parlay for, man, it was Jaden Reed, James Conner. Who else was it? It was James Conner that screwed it up, but I called all the other ones. I can't remember who it was.
hit 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
That's how it gets you, man. Just that one
Always.
extra leg. It's always one.
Well, why don't we go back to the TikTok universe? Maybe let's exit out of here on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So YouTube, thank you for joining us. We are going to be live Tuesday and Wednesday, just like we always have been on YouTube. We had kind of some extracurriculars happen tonight on the show that kind of sidetracked us. We apologize for that, but it was super fun in the TikTok world. For the TikTok people watching, continue to like. We're up to 3,000 likes on TikTok. So that's pretty cool. But YouTube, it has been real. We will be back to our regularly scheduled program next week. Any words before we get out of here for you guys to the YouTube world? Nim?
No, go Steelers.
Darian?
We love you, YouTube. Come on over to TikTok, get your questions answered, and have some fun for the next couple of moments.
And we're getting close to Halloween. I can't wait. We're getting really close. I feel like it's starting to, like, people are starting to kind of forget about it, because I think we started thinking about it October 1st, and then it's kind of like faded away, but we haven't even hit Halloween yet. So it's going to be fun.
Honestly, after being an adult in Halloween, I mean, we don't have kids yet, Darian. So Halloween will be special for you. But I feel like as an adult, it's just another Friday for me, to be honest. I'm not really going out to parties and stuff like that. In college, it was super cool going out to parties. Kids, it was cool to trick or treat. As an adult, maybe I'm just old or lame or whatever you can call me. But
You could have like a stay-in night on Halloween where you're just watching movies, scary movies, spooky movies.
yeah, but then the doorbell rings every like 10 seconds. You have to pause.
Oh, I'm turning my shit off, and I'm
No,
Fuck
so like
these
we
kids.
actually wanted trick or treaters, and literally last year we got two big Costco bags of candy, right? Because the year before that we ran out of candy, so we're like, sorry. So then this year we're like, all right, we're not gonna do that again. We got 2 big bags of Costco candy. we had 3 trick-or-treaters the whole entire night.
Oh wow.
So we literally like dumped the candy in their pillowcase and stuff like that. Like,
Oh damn.
so hopefully, I don't know what the hell's wrong with my. I don't know if it was because of COVID. Like during COVID, we did that, and we had to like put a table in our driveway or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
But anyways, YouTube, it's been awesome with you guys tonight. Follow, like, subscribe. We got more fantasy advice